أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My name is Hashim Duale. I'm chosen and I'm honored by Alfurqan and three other masjids to give me the opportunity to chair this important meeting. I'm just chairing, but the work and everything masajids have done. My role is only here to chair this event. The event it speaks itself, and it is very important that the world we live, there are a lot of difficulties around us. And Allah always bless us with intellect and know how to tackle any issue that the life throws at us. Especially in the Western world, we're not immune what's happening because we're living in it. And the addiction is one of those sad things. And as Ummah, wherever we are, what color we are, we're not immune of it. And it is really devastating effect. I don't want to bore you with the statistics. Anyone can Google the toll it takes whole humanity. This to the point that one of the things that is happening in America now, they are fighting because their people are dying because of addiction. And they are fighting with their neighbors to say, why you're bringing into our country, and those who manufacture. I don't want to be political, and it's not arena for it, but it is something that it's everybody's mind now. Without further ado, today we are hosting, and I will speak in few words in Somali to give the brothers also what's happening and the gist of what is happening. But unfortunately, we have no liberty to interpret what's happening all. But believe me, it won't be one-off. This is a start. Today, Spinney Hill Drug and Alcohol Addiction Support Team in whole entirety, they are with us today. And the reason why they're here today is because we are lucky, the Ummah, between the Ummah here, one of our brothers who will later be introduced by Sheikh here will explain how important this lecture is. But in generally, what I wanted is to welcome the whole team, and I will leave the introduction of our Sheikh to my Sheikh here. And what I will say in Somali language is just a few sentences. Jazakumullah. Maanta waxaa noo marti ah drug addiction team. Sida la socotaan, addictionka wax aad noo aafeeyey ummadoo dhan waaye, maaha Soomaali kaliya. Waxaa noo martiya Sheikh ee South Africa ka yimid oo la yiraahdo Sheikh Hafiz Rafiq. Sheikhaas maaha oo kaliya cilmiga diiniga inuu yaqaane, wuxuu caan ku noqday cilmigan maadiga ah oo addictionka ah. Si loo soo dhaweeyo sheekha, waxaa si fiican oo iga mudan u soo dhaweyn doona sheekhan oo si fiican u yaqaana. Sheekha hadda midigtayda fadhiya, idinka bidixdiina waa Sheikh Mustakh Dakri, Hafid Mustakh Dakri. I will give the floor, and while we're waiting the Sheikh to join us.
My dear respected elders and brothers, alhamdulillah, I won't take too much time, mashallah. Hafiz Sahab has arrived, so inshallah we'll give as much of the time as possible. The only thing to say really that there is no problem that mankind faces, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, emotional, social, mental, that Allah Jalla Jalaluhu has not kept a solution to that problem inside His deen. This is the complete way of life, the life shown to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sahbihi wa sallam. And there is a solution to every issue that society will face. Most of us, my dear brothers, either we arrived in this country or our parents arrived in this country. Very few of us are indigenous to this nation. When our parents arrived, when some of us arrived, many people came with only the shirts on their backs. Many of our parents arrived with nothing but the shirts on their backs and maybe one small case. And when they arrived, at the time they realized that the need that the community faced was the need to establish the masjid, and with that to establish the madrasa. But as time has gone on, as new generations have been born and have been raised in this country, the challenges have changed. So along with, not instead of, but along with the masjids, along with the madrasas, along with our Islamic schools, we also now have a need to tackle the social issues that our young people are facing. And one of these issues is, like Sheikh mentioned, the issue of addiction. Many of our young people experiment with drugs at some point in their life, starting with cigarettes, starting with vaping, moving on to other things. There was a time when we could ignore these things. We could say that this was something that happened to other people. But the scale of the problem now is so great that no longer can we hide. We have to accept that this is something that is happening to us, is happening in our streets, and is also in our houses, unfortunately. So to this aim, mashallah, some brothers have made fikr, some concern, and they set up, just like our elders set up masjids, they set up an organization called Spinney Hill to support people with addiction issues. This organization, my dear brothers, first and foremost is confidential. Nothing that is discussed with anybody at the center is discussed outside of that center. We can arrange to see people on their own, we can see people in groups, and it takes the best of Western medication, Western models of therapy, and combines it with the best of our own traditions, Islamic traditions. It's free and is within the community and is open to all. The aim of the center, my dear brothers, is that if we ourselves or anybody we know in our families or anybody in our communities is struggling with addiction and they don't know where to turn, then everybody must know that there is a place that they can go to where they can seek help, which is free and confidential, and brothers is open to brothers and is open to sisters. The inspiration for this center to a large scale came from one person. His name is Hafiz Rafiq, mashallah, who resides in South Africa. For 25, maybe over 30 years, he's been running a center in a place called Magaliesburg outside Johannesburg in South Africa, where people not just from South Africa, but from United Kingdom, from North America, South America, all around the world, brothers are going there who are battling with addiction. They are staying there. Not only are they overcoming their addiction, but they are also reconnecting with their faith. And once they return, we realized that we needed a center in Leicester so that once people arrived, there was also support for them present here. So this is the aim of today's session. Firstly, is to raise awareness around addiction, how great and how big the problem is facing the ummah, not just in Leicester, not just in England, but around the world. And if we don't make efforts to stop this, to prevent this, then unfortunately it has the risk of destroying our communities. Despite the masjids and despite the ai if we don't tackle this, if we ignore this, then it has the danger that it can destroy our communities. So inshallah, as part of the program, we have two brothers who were service users, who've been through this journey, who are now, mashallah, doing very well in their lives, who have come out the other end. They can tell us about what it's like to be in the depth of darkness, but when you reach out, when you accept the support, then how lives can change. But inshallah, before we do that, I'd like to now invite, mashallah, Hazrat Hafiz Rafiq Sahab, who's traveled all the way from South Africa. He's only doing one program in Leicester, He's doing programs in London, Bolton, Manchester, and Leicester. He's only doing one program in Leicester, and that program he's dedicated to this masjid and this area, inshallah. So we're very grateful that Hafiz Sahib has joined us, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم ربي يسر ولا تؤسر وتمم بالخير ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل من لساني يفقهوا قولي نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد الحمد لله. All praise due to Allah Ta'ala, who has blessed us with the wealth of Iman. Allah Ta'ala has given us three beautiful gifts. One, Allah Ta'ala has given us Iman. Two, Allah Ta'ala has made us Muslim. And three, Allah Ta'ala has made us human beings. Because Allah Ta'ala has made us human beings, Allah Ta'ala has given us a beautiful faculty, and that's the brain, to give us the ability to distinguish between what is right and wrong. So in the end, Allah Ta'ala has given us a choice. If you look at it now, we have such a scourge. First of all, before I go on that aspect, I would like to, express our gratitude towards the Sheikh for putting this whole program together. Allah Ta'ala reward the community as well, Sheikh and the community as well, inshallah. We have a scourge. A lot of people say that drug addiction is a disease. Drug addiction is not a disease. A disease is something that is inflicted to a human being by Allah Ta'ala. You're looking at sugar, you're looking at cancer, you're looking at HIV, AIDS, you're looking at kidney problems, you're looking at lung problems. Those are diseases inflicted to a human being by Allah Ta'ala. Doctors can give you comfort, they can't give you cure. Doctors can give you comfort, they can't give you the cure, because cure is in the hands of Allah. But because Allah Ta'ala has given us a beautiful faculty and the brain to have the ability to distinguish between what is right and wrong, Allah Ta'ala has given us a choice. Allah Ta'ala has given us a choice. And that choice we have to make. It's like they say, Allah Ta'ala has created two beautiful shutters above and below the eyes. So Allah Ta'ala says that, these shutters, even if somebody does this to you, you blink it. Even if a fly goes past, you blink it. Even if they say, Allah Ta'ala, you want sleep, you want sukoon, you want peace, Allah Ta'ala says, I'll give you. There's no human can tell you what time you slept, because Allah will close your eyes and Allah will open in the morning. But Allah Ta'ala says, if you look at ghair mahram, at that time you close your eyes. At that time I won't close it for you. So Allah has given us certain abilities. So even if we eat, we have the ability to taste the food up to here. From here downwards, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what goes to the lungs. We don't know what goes to the heart. We don't know what goes to the livers. Everything from here below is supplied and directed in every avenue through the qudrat of Allah. So we need to understand who Allah Ta'ala is. We need to realize and bring Allah Ta'ala in our homes. We need to understand who Allah is. The only time we will understand who Allah Ta'ala is, once we get close to Allah and we see the qudrat and the barakat of Allah, then we'll understand who Allah is. So for us to understand, what addiction is and what the scourge is doing, if you look at it, the scourge is such a scourge that is affecting every facet of our lives. Look at our schools, our madaris, our Islamic institutes, our colleges, our varsities, and also it's coming to our homes like a thief. That is disrupting our whole home. It's affecting every part of our home. That means if a home has one drug addict or one addict in the home, and if he has 5 siblings, and maybe 2 brothers, 7 in total, if they are all married with 3 children, if you look at it, statistics show in the States that it affects up to 180 people at one given time, one addict. So we need to understand it's a scourge that now we can't stop it. It sees no color, no creed. It sees no race, no religion. It does not see no gender. It doesn't differentiate between blue, white, black, color, whatever it is. Even the age group. To give an example, the youngest child that a mother brought to our center was 6 years old on crack cocaine. The youngest child that we kept was 7 years old. Understand? Because the reason we had to keep a 7-year-old is because why? His whole family was on drugs. So we never know where to send him. So we had to get him into some sort of a form of repairing of his addiction and send him to some sort of a madrasa institute for him to progress from there. So he sees no age. Very important for us to understand that. Then for us to understand, sometimes we wonder, why is the addict doing certain things? Because why? We do not understand what addiction is. We need to understand what addiction is. Okay? To simplify and define addiction, addiction is an uncontrollable, unmanageable desire. It's an uncontrollable, unmanageable desire. That's what, if you try and define what addiction is, it's an uncontrollable, unmanageable desire. Simple terms, it's a psychological dependency. That means when a person is experimenting with substance abuse, it becomes a psychological dependency. That means, like they say, when a person, obsession is created through to the mind, from the top here. So obsession is psychological. So if a person is obsessed with something, your body becomes physically compulsive. That means if I'm obsessed with chocolates, my body will want to eat it. If I'm obsessed with drugs, my body will want to use it. If I'm obsessed with a girl, my body will want to visit her all the time. So obsession creates physical compulsiveness. So when a person is experimenting, he will try maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of drugs. Once he finds the choice of drug, okay, it's no more psychological. He goes from pre-dependency to codependency. That means now he's no more experimenting. In his experimental stage, in pre-dependency, his final choice of drug, they say his drug of choice is cocaine, and he's coming down with benzodiazepine, or he's coming down with alcohol. So now when he goes to his second stage to codependency, it now becomes psychological and physical. The mind will tell you how good it is. The body will tell you how good it feels. So at that time, your mind and your body is trying to satisfy. That means you're trying to satisfy both. The time you satisfy both, you become dependent. Once you become dependent, you go to a third stage of addiction. And once you go to a third stage of addiction, that means now you go into chronic addiction. Once you're in chronic addiction, it's no more psychological. It becomes physical. The mind don't need it, the body needs it. It's called psychosomatic. That means psychosomatic is when the body tells the mind what to do. So when a person gets a craving, at that time you forget who's mother, you forget who's father, you forget who's wife, you forget who's children, you forget everything. Why? Because the body demands what it demands. It's like a person who got sugar, He can eat one big cream cake now. His sugar can rise to 17. Give him insulin, he's back to normal. So similarly with an addict. Once he gets a craving, if he's in his chronic phase of addiction, and he gets a craving, nobody can stop him. The only time you can be stopped is once you satisfy that crave. So you see, guys will pawn their cars, guys will pawn their phones. To give you an example, I had a brother there who slept with his mother. She gave birth. Okay, I had another brother who's been raping his sister from the age of 7. She's 13 now. She's been raped for 7 years. Okay, we got guys that are actually pawning their wives. Okay, pawning their wives. That means they're putting their wives onto drugs. Okay, once their wives are onto drugs, and once the money gets finished, they call the dealer and let the wife go there for 1 hour. And in 1 hour, it comes with maybe 2, 3 pieces of crack. Okay, so it's come to that stage where there's no control, brothers. So it's very important for us to see how we can set an infrastructure. It's something we're not going to stop. There's no way. A lot of people say, let's get rid of the dealers. We can't do that. Okay, it's like telling an alcoholic, let's close the bottle stores. We can't do that. We need to educate ourselves. We need to set up support structures and support groups where people can go somewhere, where people have somewhere where they can go to, where they feel is confidential, where they can talk to someone, where they can express themselves, they can bring up whatever is bothering them in their lives. Okay, and wallahi, I'm saying that if we set up an infrastructure in any locality, that's our aim. Our aim is not to set up, to have thousands of rehab facilities. Okay, because the rehab facility is just your starting point. A lot of people think that a rehab facility is a factory. It's not, a rehab facility is not a factory. You can't put mints inside here and maybe a samosa come out for other side. It's not going to happen. Okay, a rehab facility is not a factory. Your most important part of your rehabilitation is your aftercare, is your support structure. Because why? Very important for all of us to understand. When a person is an addict, you are fighting 2 addictions. You are fighting his drug addiction and you're fighting his character defects. That means when a person is an addict, because of his addiction, his character defects kicking. The lying, the conning, the manipulation, the irresponsibility, the anger, the aggression, the violence, the abuse, the eating pattern, sleeping pattern, all those things change because of his drug addiction. So it's no use tackling only the drug part of it, and his character defects is still the same. Like they say, he's a manipulator, he's a con. Okay, so when a person comes to a rehab facility, we try to see how we can deal with those type of issues and give him the ability and the infrastructure how to reintegrate back into society. That's our aim. How we can get him back into society. And then that's from there he goes into an aftercare center where even if it means a year, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, that must become part of his life. Because very important, once a person is in chronic addiction, you are a drug addict for the rest of your life. You are a recovering addict for the rest of your life. We got guys coming in there relapsing after 10 years. We got some guys coming in relapsing after 15 years. Okay? So it is something that you need to be very, very cautious about, and very, very important for you to understand that you can fall at any given time. There is no way a guy say, I'm clean for 10, 15 years. You can fall very, very hard. Because you don't know, one day, that thing must just cross your mind. Or maybe if you can't deal with your addiction, or you can't deal with your craving, and if it just cross your mind, for you to satisfy that need, you're going to go to the substance. Understand? So I think it's very, very important. Alhamdulillah, I see Hafiz Mustaq, Hafiz Buri, they've taken the initiative to set this together. Set this whole program together. It is set together for what, brothers in Islam? It is set together to see how we can have a better community, how we can have a sober community. Because wallahi, if we don't take an initiative now to set this whole thing up, wallahi, the next generation will be a generation of drug addicts. The next generation will be a generation of drug addicts. I mean, we can see what's happening in society. We can see what's happening with families. If you look at 90, in South Africa, 90 to 95% of criminal activity drug-related. 90 to 95% cases, divorce cases, drug-related. You look at 90 to 95% divorce cases, child battering, wife abuse, child abuse, it's all drug-related. Okay, alhamdulillah, we were in Lewisham, and one of the brothers was just telling me that most of the cases that are coming to the masjid or coming to the ulama to have it solved between husband and wife is drug-related. So if we don't educate ourselves on the substance side, it is something we'll regret. Wallahi. Like they say, some of them I ask the students at the center, what is the most important commodity in life? What is the most important thing in life? Some people will say air, some people will say food, some people will say water, some people will say... But what we need to understand is that the most important commodity in life is that never regret what you do today, tomorrow, because what becomes of you tomorrow is determined by what you do today. That means some guys who are on substance, 10 years ago, they made the wrong decision. What's happening to them today? They're in the streets. So the day you decide to rehabilitate and sort yourself out, and you put yourself together, 10 years down the line after that, you will not regret what happened. So the most important commodity is never regret what you do today, tomorrow. Because what becomes of you tomorrow is determined by what decisions you're going to make today. So alhamdulillah, a lot of time people leave school, they finish school, they go to varsity, they become doctors, some people go to Darul Ulum, they become alims, they study for 7, 8 years. After 7, 8 years, they can sit back and say, alhamdulillah, 7 years ago, I made the right decision. But if I decide to go do the wrong things and meet up with the wrong people or end up doing substance, what happens 7 years down the line? Where am I sitting? So we have to take cognizance and heed to it, brothers. And also very important, brothers in Islam, we need to have an open communication with our children. We need to mold our children because children learn everything at home. Children learn to lie at home. Children learn sees at home. Children sees physical, psychological abuse at home. Children see that there's no namaz in the house. Children see that wife and husband are fighting at home. Children, like they say, children don't listen to what we say. They see what we do. Children don't listen to what we say. They see what we do. So it's very important for us to create a good mahal at home, a good environment at home, so our children can see in what direction the home is. Otherwise, our children will go off the wagon. They'll go off the plot. And then we'll regret 10 years down the line that, Ya Allah, what did I do wrong? Or why is my child like this? So addiction is not only drug-wise, brothers. Okay? You have the addiction for cell phones. We have addiction for social media. You have addiction, a lot of people. We got people coming in for porn addiction. We got people coming in for sexual addiction. We got people coming in for alcohol addiction. You got people coming in for gambling addiction. So if you look at it, any addiction a person is involved in, the relating factors are the same. That means any addiction that you have, all the relating factors relating to addiction is the same. The lying, the conning, all those things come in with any type of addiction that you have. And also very important to understand, anybody who uses a stimulant is involved with porn and maaf to say it in the masjid, but involved with prostitutes. Because why? For you to get a stimulation of the high, you need a woman next to you to get a stimulation. Though there's no functionability, you need a woman next to you. Okay, I've read. I think I was reading somewhere or in one of the newspapers that I think a couple of weeks back, they found in the UK a couple of million pounds worth of crystal meth. Yeah, currently in South Africa, the highest form of a drug is crystal meth. The highest form of an upper, the highest form of a downer is heroin. Okay, so the crystal meth has come to such a stage now that either your body can sustain it, or otherwise your body can't. I have a brother there. He had one hit of crystal meth. He's on a wheelchair. Okay, he had one hit in his car. When he opened his car door, he fell down. He's paralyzed on the left side. His hands he's like this till today. He's 120 kilos. But now the other aspect of it is, on the violent and abusive aspect of crystal meth, we got a brother there that stabbed his wife. Okay, he's in prison now. He stabbed his wife with a screwdriver 32 times. 32 times he stabbed her. I got another brother who hit his wife with an axe. Because why? Crystal meth, it comes to a stage where it twists one dopamine in your brain. Immediately, the voices will come into you. And then the voices tell you what to do. The voices in your brain will tell you what to do. That means you become suspicious. I mean, you'll feel people around you is only talking about you. You'll feel people are talking bad about you. You feel there's cameras in the house. You feel in a light there's cameras and people watching you. So the voices will make you do that, brothers. Okay? So our main fear also is, alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala has given me the ability to come to the UK a couple of times. There was no crystal meth at that time. Everybody, 90% of the people here in the UK are on cocaine. Okay? But let crystal meth hit our grounds. Let crystal meth hit the UK. Wallahi, there'll be a tsunami here. There'll be a war. There's no way people are going to be able to control it. Okay? Because it will make a person very, very violent. They'll never be able to control it in their homes as well. So our objective, brothers in Islam, our objective here is that to create an awareness and an understanding that what is happening in society. That's our objective. There's no other objective that we have. And we want to see that, inshallah, with the community of the area is called St. Matthew's. The community of St. Matthew's, how we can put a team together that can work with Smaning, will Hafiz Mustaq, Hafiz Puri, all the brothers from Smaning, you've got Brother Khalil and all of Brother Khaliba and all of them. If we can set up an infrastructure of how we can help the community. Wallahi, initially, it might be something that's embarrassing. Initially, it might be something that, hey, people are going to talk about. But very important to understand. It will come to a stage, wallahi, we'll understand everything happening in our community. You will get drug cases. You will get rape cases. You will get molestation cases. You will get all these type of cases that sometime it will come to a stage and we wonder, is this happening in my community? It's the only time, if we have a center where people can come in, people will open up. Okay, so that is our main concern now, to see how we can set up an infrastructure, inshallah, to help the community. That's our aim. So inshallah, we have a team that has set up. What a beautiful center, and I think it's very important also, maybe a team that can get together from St. Matthew's and maybe go to Leicester and see the whole setup. Once you see the setup, you'll actually have the desire to set up something in a similar context, inshallah. So inshallah, is there any questions, anything? I don't think there's much more we can talk about substance, Drugs is drugs. I don't think there's anything else we can discuss on that aspect. But any question, anybody want to know anything, inshallah, we can take it from there.
Okay. Jazakallah to Hafiz. Hafiz is here with us. Inshallah, brothers can speak to him, any questions, and they can also speak to him privately if anybody has. But like we mentioned, what would be, inshallah, useful now, we have some brothers who are service users, mashallah, who are doing very well. Allah taking a lot of work from them. So I'm going to ask them, inshallah, to speak and say a few words. After that, then we can take some questions, inshallah, and then if we need to have a discussion, if that's a possibility, we can do that. So I'm going to just invite Brother Arafat to the front, if that's okay. If there's any of the sisters who have any questions, they can text 07 306 011 247.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So my name is Arafat. I'm a former service user of Spinney Hill. And I'm not here to tell you about all the things that I've done in my past, all that kind of stuff, because most of the people can probably relate anyway. But all the normal things that come with the lifestyle of, substances, drug dealing, prison, the criminal lifestyle, all that, because I'm not here to talk about all that kind of stuff now. Yeah, I'm here to talk about the support that Spin Hill offered to me, provided to me, and also the opportunities that gave me as well. So, when I was going through my times of darkness, it was a very, very dark place. I wanted to do a lot of bad things, a lot of things that I don't want to mention in public. But Spin Hill came to support me, and alhamdulillah, they were very supportive, they were non-judgmental. They gave me a chance, and all the rest of my other society was looking down on me, all that kind of stuff. And they helped me go to South Africa. South Africa was one of the best decisions I made in my life. I spent 3 months with Hafiz and Rafiq. I didn't want to come back, that's how much I enjoyed it. So anyway, when I got back, did a bit of voluntary work for them. And that time I think Spin Hill was in its early stages. So we were developing quite a few things. So we had the support groups, different sessions throughout the week. And then obviously they offered me a job as well. So in that job, obviously I started, trying to helping other people, all that kind of stuff. Because my background, like I said, I come from an honourable, respectful family, quite well educated, very experienced and knowledgeable and skilled in a lot of very different. I run a gym, mixed martial arts gym, so I teach boxing, kickboxing, grappling, all that kind of stuff. So like I said, Spin Hill, they offered me the aftercare support service, and they even offered me a job as well. And then going on from there, that helped me build the experience to work in a big organisation called Turning Point. So Turning Point's a national organisation, and they support people from a more secular perspective rather than the Islamic perspective. But one of the things that South Africa helped me with, and Spin Hill, is reconnecting with my faith, bring me back to my deen and my Islam. And that's something that I pass on to my kids. I've got my son in the crowd now, yeah? And I try my hardest to bring as the best Muslim I can. And also I've got a 7-month-old son. But like I said, since Spin Hill has given me all that support now, yeah, my doors have opened. So many doors have opened, as in like, my life has changed so much in the last 3 years. Hopefully I've got a good job. Also, I've left Turning Point now. I'm working in a school, behaviour school, hopefully planning to be a qualified teacher. I'm still running my own gym. All my classes are busy. I've got married, got a beautiful 7-month-old baby boy. So yeah, as I said, if anyone is going through any trouble or anything, please approach Spin Hill. They do amazing work, and so yeah, that's what I've got to say, to be honest. But Jazakallah, thank you for listening to me.
Jazakallah. I'm just gonna, obviously it's not an easy thing to come up here and talk about these things, so mashallah, Allah reward brother, and Allah give him more and more success in this life and the akhirat, and make him a means of helping so many other people to change, inshallah. So invite one more person, inshallah, brother Irfan, if you can just come say a few words, mashallah. Irfan's also been to South Africa. He's been with Spin Hill, and he's also now, mashallah, one of the main volunteers at Spin Hill as well, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I want to try to keep it short and simple as well. I went to South Africa as well. Arafat was one of the guys I spoke to before I went to South Africa, so he was one of my guidelines before going, because I was a bit lost in my time as well. I was in a very dark place. I didn't know what to do with my life. I had nothing going for myself, even though I was working, good job. All my income used to always get spent on something stupid. So I was lost in life. I didn't know where to turn, where to get help from. Then I contacted one brother, and he guided me to come towards Spin Hill. Since I've been with Spin Hill, a lot's changed for me in my life. I almost lost my family. I'm a father of 3 now, but at the time I was a father of 2. I almost lost my wife, my kids. I couldn't really approach my family members regarding these situations, but even my missus' side also knew about certain things that I was going through at the time. So it was a very difficult time for me, and I was going through a very hard, rough time. When I was in the dark room where I was stuck in the room, I didn't know how to get out of it until I got in contact with Spinney Hill. Hafiz Afzal was a big part in my journey as well, and then they decided to send me because I thought I could do it. I could do it by myself here. So a couple of months I'll be clean, then I'll slip up again. I'll be clean again, then I'll slip up again. And you know, the ego gets the best of us, and sometimes we shy away to get the help that we need from places that are there for us to get help from. So eventually I had to give in to my ego, kill the ego off and say, right, you know what, I really do need help. What do I do? So then that's when Spinney Hill really took a play on my journey, because they knew his time, he's going to be real to his journey. So alhamdulillah, I went South Africa. I was originally meant to go for 3 months, but I ended up coming back after 2.5 because my missus was also pregnant. So just thinking about sitting in South Africa, thinking about your missus is pregnant, she can give birth any time. It's a very rough time that you face at that time. Also, my dad was ill as well, so he was a bit of a he's passed away now. He passed away 2 years ago. But imagine sitting in a place where you're thinking, you know, your dad can go any time, and you're here trying to rectify your life. But you know, Allah grant him Jannah. Allah forgive me for whatever I did in the past. But you know, it's a tough time. You know, if we don't step up and step out of our comfort zone of doing what we're doing to gain the help, we'll never be there. But South Africa played a big part for me. You know, when I went there, I said, you know what, this is me. I've come here. I've come to change my life. And I start understanding who I was as an individual person. So before I was lost, I had no emotions. I didn't know how to deal with situations. But a lot of the things we learned from South Africa. South Africa also gives you quite good tools to understand what you're gonna go through when you come back, or how to deal with addiction as well. And then when I came back, I've been stuck with Spinney Hill. So I've 3-4 years I've been back. But I've been stuck along Spinney Hill. I've seen them develop and grow, and alhamdulillah, we've been getting a lot of help that we as users needed. So alhamdulillah, it's good to have Spinney Hill there. You know, whenever you need, whenever you feel like you're gonna go through that situation again, you just pop into the center, you speak to somebody. You know, you got people that can help you, mentors. We got mentors there. And the good thing is that we've also got the center's always open, and then we've got classes there we can attend. We've got a gym there. We've got get together class. We've got tafsir classes to understand. You know, these are the things that we lack the most. So our deen was very away from us. So now for me in my life is I need the deen in my life, and you know, sometimes, you know, you gotta run towards it. You know, you have to gain that success. You have to achieve them things, because if you're gonna sit in that dark room, you're never gonna come out that dark room. So alhamdulillah, Spinney Hill have played a big part for me. They've changed with the will of Allah. A lot has been changed in my life. They've also put me forward for a few different courses as well. You know, before I was like I looked like a stick. You know, my cheeks were in, and you'll be like, oh, well, look at this guy, you know. It's like, oh, he must be on something like that. But alhamdulillah, you know, life has changed for me. Allah showed me as well, you know, when you're in that path, I can take your health, your wealth, your life, everything. But when you come into this path, you know, you can also achieve in this path as well. So alhamdulillah, so alhamdulillah, so Spinney Hill has changed a lot for me as well. I'm grateful for everybody that's played a part in my journey. And, you know, if we can get this out there to the community in St. Matthews, because I know quite a few brothers in St. Matthews as well. I met a couple of the lads on Friday, but inshallah, you know, I don't see them around here today, but, you know, just getting out there and helping each other is a big thing. You know, we need to be united to, you know, tackle this, because it's a very serious thing happening in our community. So inshallah, Allah guide us all to, you know, help out in this situation, inshallah.
Jazakallah, Brother Irfan, and Allah keep you steadfast and help you to become a role model for so many people to change their lives. I'm going to invite in a few minutes one brother who's just returned from South Africa. He can share his journey. He just returned a few days ago. But before I do that, we've had a few questions and a few comments from the sisters. I'm just going to read some of them out. One sister's messaged about her concerns. She says that she has a brother who is using drugs, and she also has a sister, and nobody knows about her sister's use. So she's asking that what can she do to help her family. So one of the things that we do at Spinney Hill is that we have a female worker, Sister Halima, who works specifically with other women, females who are also got addiction issues. She supports them. But we also have groups for the mothers and sisters of the service users. So often the mothers, the sisters, the daughters, they are often the hidden victims of addiction. The men are using the money to feed their habits. There's little money at home. Like Havisab said, there's all sorts of other ills, domestic violence, other kinds of abuse. So we have groups, because some of the things, what we're told, is that this is the first time, the only place that these women, these sisters have to go, a safe space where they can talk about what they're going through. Unfortunately, many of them have to struggle in silence. They can't talk about what they're going through with their family members because of family name, because of honor. So this is a safe space. Everything that's discussed in Spinney Hill, whether it's the men's groups or the women's groups, is all done in confidence. So this sister can come to the center and she can get support from Sister Halima. Sister Halima is here today in the ladies area. She can talk to her, and also she can get help from the other sisters who are there, who maybe have gone through a similar journey. Another sister has messaged in to say that if a young person is already doing drugs, how can parents help him overcome the addiction? So the first thing we would do is we would ask her to encourage the brother to come to the center, to meet with other people, either speak in confidence, to attend the groups. Nobody needs to know about his background. But again, we would also encourage her, the sister and her family, the ladies, to attend the women's groups so that they can gain from the experience of the other women who have already been through something similar. And finally, okay. Thank you so much. This is to Hafiz Rafiq. Thank you so much for the definition of addiction. Addicts, when in chronic condition, begin to lie to hide their habit. How can you get them to seek help and be honest about their issues? My son finally opened up. He has addiction and is in rehab. How can we help him to be open and honest to get the right support? So like Hafizah mentioned, that rehab is just one part of a person's recovery journey. The real challenge starts is when they return home. Often brothers and sisters, when they're in rehab, they do very well. They make great promises. But if they come back to that same environment, the same peer support, the same physical environment, then there is a big chance of relapse. And what we found is that those brothers and sisters who engage in the activities at Spinney Hill at the center, this is one of the reasons that every day the center's open, every day there's activities, Quran classes, zikr, gym, whatever else, every day there's something. As long as people engage in those, whenever they're having a bad day, whenever they're considering relapsing, they can come to the center, they can speak to somebody who will give them that courage and reassurance, and that will prevent that relapse. And what we find is that if people can get through those first 6 to 9 months, once they return, then they have a much a better chance of preventing them from relapsing. I'm now, inshallah, going to invite Brother Hussein, inshallah, who's just returned. Inshallah, he's very kindly and bravely agreed to just share his journey. Just to remind brothers and sisters that this is not an easy thing. You know, it takes a lot of courage to be so open and to disclose some very personal things, what's happened to a person, what they've done, some of the behaviors and traits that they've conducted in the past. But inshallah, you know, being honest, and this will give encouragement to other people who are going through similar things, that there is light and there is hope at the end of the tunnel. And if these brothers can do it, then there's no reason why anybody else can't do it. Yes, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think there's about 2 things I need to explain, inshallah. We get a better understanding going to the questions that came through, yeah? One is, what we need to understand, I think a lot of people have asked me that why is it that my son is okay for maybe a month, he's okay maybe for 6 weeks, or sometimes maximum he goes to about 2.5 to 3 months. You know, there are 3 craving cycles when a person stops addiction, okay? Your first cycle is 10 to 14 days. Your second cycle is 30 to 35. Your third cycle is 85 to 90 days. If a person does not pass these 3 cycles, he will relapse within the first 2 to 5 weeks. Okay, that's one. Number 2 is that we have the conscious and the subconscious. Okay, so when a person comes back into society, okay, his subconscious will reactivate the conscious to say, I'm back in reality. So it means the subconscious will tell him, my same bathroom, my same friends, my same streets, my same roads, I see all this thing all the time. That means a recovering addict or an addict, even if he sees another person high, he'll get a craving. Because why? Maybe a person who's not an addict will not recognize it, but a person who's an addict will able to recognize another addict even if he's high. Okay, so all the drugs have certain time frame periods. That means, for example, if a person is using a stimulant like cocaine, crystal meth, or cat, it stays 5 to 7 days in your system. Okay, if a person is using a benzodiazepine, it stays 10 to 14 days in your system. If a person is using normal weed, okay, it will stay maximum 35 to 45 days in your system. If a person is using chronic weed is indoor weed. Indoor weed is created in rooms that have pigeonholes. Okay, and what they do is they put a weed there, they spray it with liquid acid. Once it's sprayed with liquid acid, and then they got UV light, it will soak it into the weed. So what happens is a lot of time a parent will come there, they'll say, you know what, jinnat barailoche. He's talking to himself. He's hearing voices. It's because he's using hallucinogenic, because it's mixed with liquid acid. So a person starts seeing things and hearing things. Okay, so a lot of time a parent will say that, you know, my son is so violent that we can't control him. Okay, that is because he's not using weed. He's not only using weed. So it's very important. As soon as we see a change of behavior, as soon as we see a change of routine, we see a patient locking his room at night, a person taking 1 hour in a bathroom, it's very important for us to especially a mother needs to see into it. She will recognize it, because the first person who will recognize a change of behavior of a child is the mother. Okay? And also very important to understand, in every human brain, we have 5 dopamines. They're like this in our brains. Okay? These dopamines, they move clockwise. These dopamines supply fluid to the serotonin glands to give you the happy, sad feeling. Understand? So when a person takes anything that intoxicates the mind, you either get 1, 2, or 1, 2, and 3 that got anti-clockwise. So you got 3 moving clockwise, you got 2 moving anti-clockwise. So you get the thing in your mind, should I, shouldn't I, mustn't I, but if. So if you take him to a psychiatrist, they say he's bipolar. Not understanding that he might have a drug-induced psychosis or a chemical imbalance in the brain. So it's very important for us also not to take, I'm not saying that psychiatrists are not good. Some people need meds. But I said initially we have to give it a certain amount of time for us to see that is it drug-induced? Because why? We need to understand he already has an addictive behavior. He has an addictive personality. Now you put him onto benzodiazepine, you put him onto a psychiatrist. They're going to give him Risperdal for antipsychotic. They're going to give him Pudopicol to help him sleep for the anxiety. They're going to give him Epilim as a mood stabilizer. So what happens is, because he's going to enjoy that, he's going to get addicted to that. So now you've got a person addicted to drugs, and you've got a person addicted to prescription medication. So it's very important, like I say, it's very important, like the mothers are saying there, what must they do? Well, like the first thing you do is attend the support group. Attend the groups, attend the center, try and speak to someone. Sometimes, I promise you, if you get the proper support from the center, sometimes you don't even need a rehab facility. Sometimes you don't even need a rehab facility. If your support structure is good enough, and if you see a person can feel open, whoever his counselor is, or his mentor is, or his role model, he can talk to that person on a daily basis, or even if it means twice or thrice a week. Wallahi, I'm telling you, I don't even need a rehab, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hussein. I just want to talk. If I say I had a 20-year addiction to cocaine, yeah, and yeah, I was just saying, for me, I had a 20-year addiction to cocaine, and my life was really, really going downhill in a dark place, where my family didn't want to know, my wife didn't want to know. But alhamdulillah, I got to Spinney Hill, I got to know them, and I made a decision to go to South Africa to a rehab. All my life, I used to be in denial, I don't need help. But Allah opened the door for me. And yeah, I could just say, I was there for 3 months initially, and my wife didn't want to know me or nothing, and she wanted me to stay longer, and I stayed longer. And alhamdulillah, I did, and you know what, it's the best decision in my life I've taken. Seriously, anybody out there on addiction, please come to Spinney Hill. It'll change your life. Qasam, it'll change your life. You know, the feeling I've got now is just amazing. It's just me and Allah. That's it. What Hafiz Rafiq has put into me is amazing. Yeah, so everybody please, whoever's got addiction, whoever knows somebody, just come take that initial step. It's the hardest step, but it'll be the best step in your life. I promise you that. Wallahi, I promise you. Yeah, and that's me. This is where I am now. I came home 3 days ago. And alhamdulillah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, and hopefully that's it. That's me and cocaine is done. Yeah. And it's just me and Salah now 5 times. Yeah, Jazakallah.
I think only ladies are asking questions. What happened to men? You can ask directly, or you can still use the number to. But since I have the mic, I will ask the Maulana Hafiz Rafiq. If a family is thinking now to send their loved ones to the center down there, what are they? Obviously, the money and everything else, but what they need to do for that after they speak to Spinney Hill and they think they are ready to do that next step, what it entails? If you can go through that for us, please.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I think very important is that before they even decide to come to a rehab facility, it's very important for them to go for the support first. That's number one, okay? I think the only time they can come to rehab is once Spinney Hill gives the go-ahead to say that this person is ready to come to a rehab facility. Otherwise, we don't want a person that has problems here in London, he's left issues behind. I mean, the cops are looking for him, he's got debts left behind, so what he's doing is running away from a situation. So I think it's very important for him to initially go to the aftercare center, and from the center, they will able to say that, you know what, this guy is ready for rehab. Then inshallah we can look forward into it. Look, all we do is that at the center is that, look, we're not here to market any center or discuss any center, but I think the whole program is run on the Islamic ethos, okay? And I think for the past, I think 3 to 4 years, we've been working with Spinney Hill. Okay, maybe a guy comes there initially and he doesn't want the help. He feels I'm okay. After 2 months, he feels okay. Now I'm okay, because you know why? You get a guy who's in addiction for 20 years. Now he comes there after 4 or 5 weeks. He says I'm okay. So on the aspect of a person wanting to come to a facility, I think it's very important they go to the support center first. Let the support center make assessments, do evaluations, let them see how's the person's mindset, is he ready for recovery, what's his issues, his concerns, his grievances. From there, inshallah, I think Spinning Hill will maybe communicate with us, and from there we can see if the person needs rehab facility.
When people come to Spin Hill, what they should expect from your services as well?
So the first thing that we try to do, and the whole ethos of Spinney Hill, is to show love. And most people, it sounds a little bit kind of cliche to say, but unfortunately most of our service users, one of the things that they're looking for is love, is looking for muhabbat, is looking for attention. And at Spinney Hill, everybody who comes in, whenever they come in, whatever day they come in, whatever condition they come in, they'll always get a warm smile, they'll always get a hug, they'll always get an embrace. Khalil Bhai is there, mashallah, the volunteers, other staff are there. And then whatever issues, the presenting issues they are, often the drugs and the addiction is something which is underneath the surface, or is a symptom of something which is far deeper. So we offer counseling, we offer therapy to look at some of the issues that people have. And then we support them with their addiction, we support them with therapy, and often some of the brothers, physically, like Brother Irfan was mentioning as well, that physically they are very weak because of the abuse that they've given to their bodies. So we have nutritionists that can support with healthy eating to become stronger physically, because the three aspects that we focus on is the mind, the body, and the soul. So we have a gym instructor, we have a nutritionist, but one of the key things, and our USP, something that sets us apart from all other organizations, is that we use spirituality as a vehicle to recovery. And that's why, Brother Hussein mentioned, and so many of the other brothers mentioned, that often the service users, those who are in the depth of addiction, they are very disconnected from their faith. Sometimes even the masjids they feel unwelcome in those places. So in the center we have a prayer area, and this is a place that everybody is welcome no matter what condition they're in. And we have Quran classes, we have zikr, we have tasawwuf, so people can reconnect with their faith. And then we do family mediation. So that's between husband and wife for those who are married. MashaAllah, so many marriages that were on the verge of breaking have been saved from talaq through the effort of the brothers at the center. And also family mediation with parents who they may have become estranged, they may have burned those bridges, to bring those families back together. But in short, the Spinney Hill project is not just looking at one thing, it's a holistic approach, because we realize that all aspects of a person have to be fixed in order for them to make a complete recovery. And one of the key things that we do, and Hafiz Sahib alluded to this earlier, is to make effort on a person's character. Because you can take away the addiction, but if the flaws in the character are still there, if they're still lying, if they're still manipulative, if they're still childish, if their ego is controlling them rather than them controlling the ego, then they're still a nuisance to their families. They're still a hindrance to their communities. So a lot of emphasis is put on encouraging them to reform their character as well as overcoming their addiction. So many of the people, many of the brothers and sisters, their recovery is possible within Leicester. They don't have to go away. For a small percentage of those who are on very serious levels of addiction, then we may consider sending them to rehab in England, and in some cases rehab to South Africa. And one of the aims of Spinney Hill is to have the first Islamic residential rehab center in Europe. There is no other facility like it at the moment currently in England, which is specifically geared towards Muslim addicts. So this is what we're hoping to achieve, inshallah. So the brothers don't have to travel all the way to South Africa and Pakistan and wherever it may be. They can get that facility in England. And the other vision is to have centers like Spinney Hill in different parts of Leicester. So one satellite in St. Matthews, one in New Parks, one in Beaumont Leys, and also to have different well-being centers around the country. So we're supporting people with no charge, just our experience, what all policies and procedures that we have to support people to set up centers within their own communities.
Jazakallah. Can we have a rotating mic so that we can give the brothers a chance? This brother in front.
Jazakallah, Hafsab, thank you for coming here and explaining the situation. It's been an eye-opener. Really appreciate that. One question I would have is in relation to the rehab center that you run in South Africa. Is there actually an age limit to the people that go who are struggling with addiction? Or and is there any, second question, are there any costs involved?
Yes, legally in South Africa, our facility, we can't accept anybody under the age of 18. Okay, but sometime if the department comes in, if you've got somebody 16, 17, maybe they will allow it. But we have to see the situation and do an assessment of the child first, if it's a child under that age. And I think, like I said, on that aspect also is very, very important. It goes for assessments, evaluations first, and see if it's suitable for him at that age to come to a facility as well. Yeah, maybe the support he gets from a support center will make it easier for him not to go to a facility as well. Okay. Yes, there is a costing to the center. Okay. But the costing is such that, you know, I was speaking to some of the brothers here, you know, they're paying up to £5,000–6,000 a month and stuff like that. In South Africa, it's not the same. The problem with South Africa is that there's a certain amount that we have to charge where what the patient costs us per day. Because being an Islamic institute and being a charitable organization, there's a costing what the patient costs us per day. Now at the center, you know, we have 3 psychologists, we have a social worker, we have a drug counselor, we have a psychiatric nurse, we have ultraviolet saunas. We do the nice and detox. You know, it's a detox system where whatever is in your system within the 4-day period is it's out of your system. It flushes your whole body. Yeah, it's ultraviolet heat. It means there's no stoves. There's heat that come out from the panels. Yeah, it flushes your whole system. So it's a whole thing that runs. And currently, if you look at it, and then we have another detox called, you know, it's a psychological detox where it resets your receptors in the brain. Okay. Now, with that type of a detox, is either you get visions, either you get running thoughts. But the vision sometimes you get is that you, the actor, you actually see what happened in your life. Understand? And then you go through it, you discuss it, and then after everything is not constructive, you archive it. Okay? So there's a detox that we do all that type of a detox as well. Okay? Normally it's a very, very expensive detox because that meds come from Gabon. Okay? So there is a costing to it, but also if he's referred from Spinning Hill, and if Spinning Hill tells us that, you know what, he's a person who can accept, look, the funds that we have that people give us is zakat funds, yeah. So if the person does an assessment by an alim or an ulama stating that he's zakatable, okay, and we get a referral letter stating that he's zakatable, that he can accept zakat, then what we do is that part of it we sponsor from our side, but that we have to get a confirmation and a referral from Spinning Hill to tell us that this person is zakatable. This is what your fees are, maybe 2.5 or 2.7 or whatever it is, and this is what they can manage, and then we'll see if it's feasible for us to say, okay, we'll sponsor the balance.
Jazakallah.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. For like Spinny Hill, like if you know somebody that like you think could genuinely benefit for the service, like how would you refer them? Like somebody who wouldn't want to go but would genuinely benefit.
Mashallah. So there's 2 ways really. You can ring the center 0300 124 0945 and take a leaflet and just make an appointment, or you can email in with the contact details and we can contact the brother. So whichever way, if it's easier for us to contact them and arrange a time, or if it's easier for you to ring us and arrange a time. Usually, like if other services, you know, you can take up to a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks. Within Spinney Hill, we try our best that within 1 or 2 days, 3 days max, we try and make an appointment. So we don't want anybody out there who, because the hardest thing for a lot of the service users is to make that first step, to come through the door, to pluck up that courage, to admit that they've got a problem, that admit that they can't help themselves, and to take that step and walk through the door. So we know how difficult that is. So we don't want to have a time where people have to wait, because in that 1 or 2 days, anything can happen and people can change motivation again and change their intention again. So we try to see them as soon as possible. So easiest, either ring us and email us with the contact details, or we can contact them.
I have a question. I'm a community worker, so I know many people will have difficulty in asking questions. So if I am asking you too much questions, I speak for the community, so bear with me. In our culture, and I'm talking now Somali culture, the stigma is so high, and many people are suffering in silence because they're so ashamed that what will happen if they speak out. I understand the Spiny Hill drug addiction, the center, everything is confidential. But now, how can those families can connect directly to you without taking out eyebrows or putting themselves into flashlight? And I understand where they're coming from genuinely, because I understand also the Asian culture is also that stigma times 100 what you have. That's what we have in our culture. So just talk to me about those, how we can, as family, come to you, and that confidentiality bit is very important for everyone involved.
That's a very important question, and it's something that we understand, like you said, that it's something which is common amongst many cultures, and is probably an issue more so, from what I understand, within the Somali community. So we have, Hafisa mentioned that we have different types of addiction. Firstly, just to give you an example, so drugs and alcohol is one type of addiction. But we have other types of addictive behavior that people are struggling with, and namely, to be open, addiction to pornography, addiction to sex, addiction to vices along these lines, without going into too much detail. So for those people who are struggling with those types of addiction, we handle that very differently to the addiction to drugs and alcohol. We will arrange to see them at times when nobody else is there at the center. So we have times when the center is open to the general public, people can drop in, but there are times when the center is closed to the public. So we will arrange to see those people with those types of issues, or anybody who is very, very sensitive to other people finding out. We would arrange to see them out of hours. So there is nobody aware, apart from the service user and the member of staff, that they are involved with Spiny Hill. And just like those other addictive behaviors, we would handle them in a very different way. It wouldn't be in groups, it wouldn't be in public. We could disguise their names, we could disguise, and all the paperwork, anything is confidential. Also, we are open to seeing people not at the center. If it's easier to see somebody at a cafe, if it's easier to see somebody in their home, we can do home visits, wherever that person is comfortable in. Really what we're trying to say is that we don't want anything to be a barrier for somebody to seek help. If anybody needs help and they find that this is a barrier because they might be, for example, they might have some sort of disabilities, they can't access the building, then we would meet them at a place that they can access, just to give one example. So hopefully, to get across that there is no reason why anybody who is struggling should struggle in silence. We can work over the phone, we can work in private places, we can run one-to-one, out of hours, whatever it needs, whatever it takes on our part to provide the support that is required or is needed by somebody.
Thank you. You can read this question coming from the sisters.
Okay. a sister is asking, if a person is on a 2-weekly injection for drug-induced psychosis, which has been diagnosed as schizophrenia, is there still hope to send to rehab?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, we have plenty brothers that are at the center currently that are taking this 2-week and monthly injections. Okay, but I just go back to Sheikh's earlier question. Alhamdulillah, I see Afir Mustaqa explained it. 95% of patient relapse is because of family. 95%, statistics show that 95% of patients relapse because of family. Number two is that I think the irony is that a lot of times family will try to hide the situation, or put it under the carpet, are concerned of what somebody else is going to say. What is the use, or what is the object of us doing that? When a person is starting off with cigarettes, he goes to weed, then when he's using weed, we know about it, okay, but we want to hide it. When he goes to cocaine, and now we want to start seeing what can we do about it, because by that time he's starting to steal, he's doing criminal activity, he ends up in prison, he ends up in jail. So the time we decide to give that youngster help, he's gone through the mill. So there's nothing to hide. Wallahi, brothers and sisters of Islam, very important to understand. We got the best of the best ulama's children coming to rehab. We got the best of the ministers' children coming to rehab. We got, currently I got about 9 or 11 Somali brothers that are there. We are affiliated with the Somali Council in South Africa, where all the patients, they're sending them to us. And some of them who cannot reintegrate back into society, we're sending them back to Somalia for a certain time period and come back. We are affiliated with the Pakistani Council in South Africa as well, where they're sending all their patients also come in for rehab. And if they can reintegrate, we allow them to reintegrate. If we feel that patient cannot reintegrate, he needs to get out of his society for a while. Because why? It's very difficult for him to fit inside. So I think for parents who have this issue that what the next person is going to say, wallahi sisters, this is your child, man. Okay? Who cares what the next person says? As long as your child is okay, and alhamdulillah, your child is going in the right direction, who cares what the people think? Even who cares what your neighbor think? You need to get your child help. Don't come to a stage when your child is involved in criminal activity and he ends up in prison, and then what you're going to tell the people? You know, my son is in jail for what? For drugs. So rather if you have take the initiative now and say, hey, listen here, my son needs help. I don't care what people think. This is my child, man. I'm going to get him the help that he requires. And wallahi, brothers, I'm telling you, you guys have an infrastructure here. We also in South Africa don't have an infrastructure like this. We have support groups, yes. We've got people that are attending our support group for the past 15, 20 years. But we don't have something like this where people have the whole day somewhere where they can go to. You people have this, and plus in your locality. Wallahi, take advantage of it, inshallah.
I will take 3 more questions and then we will wrap, inshallah.
First of all, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, all 3 of you as well. It's a very big issue in our community. And also the 3 brothers that stepped up. This issue as well, personally for me, you know, in my family, the saddest part is when it ends in death. And for me personally as well, my uncle who went through these struggles and passed away, the saddest part is seeing the family members know deep down that that's the state that person passed away in. And so to see the 3 brothers here, it brings a smile to my face to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those 3 brothers and brought them back into the fold of Islam and onto a good path with the support of yourselves as well. My specific question to you, to the guest, is specifically at the start, for a lot of boys, and even for me growing up, there was this illusion that they had that they could deal with whatever they were going through because it doesn't affect their life as much. They could control it. So with weed, there was a lot of friends that used to say, well, I can do what I can, you know, my studies and stuff like that, I can balance both of them and it's not affecting my life as much. And they have this perception in their head that they can do that at the same time. And so when you have conversations and you're advising those brothers, the difficult part is actually trying to get into their heads that at some point that's going to take over your life. So the question I had is at that stage, how do you advise the brother that is so convinced in his head that he can balance it? How do you advise that specific brother?
And I think that a lot of kids or a lot of parents will say that my son or my child is only doing weed or doing cannabis, okay? But what we need to understand, I think Brother Hussein will tell you, he just came back about 3-4 days ago. I got about 7 to 8 guys there, okay, that are gone totally off. They lost their minds totally. So after a certain time period, if it damages dopamine, that means your brain is gone. I got intelligent intellects. I had one brother, I think Hussein will tell you, he's a Hufaz. He read Tarabi with us, understand? He read at least every day half a para, but he's totally off. He's totally gone crazy, lost his mind. I got some guys that are there for 2-3 years, 2 to 3 years, where they have their family can't even keep them and they only smoke cannabis, okay? So for any addict, he'll tell you, I can handle it. Speak to any addict. When he's in active usage, he'll tell you, I can handle it. But subconsciously, no, he can't. Okay? So I think that if there's a person that had an issue, and if it's a family member that approach him, he might take it as a threat. So rather, we get somebody from the outside, even if it's an elder in a family, or somebody that's close to him, or somebody he can talk to, or somebody he feels comfortable with, let that person intervene and say, hey, listen, Hakim, let me take you somewhere we can talk to someone, or let's try and see if we can speak to someone. And once we make them understand what he does, I think it will benefit, it will make it easier for a person to understand how serious is his addiction. So I think it's very important, get him affiliated with someone where he can trust, or somebody that he feels like can talk to him, make him understand. And then take him once or twice, take him to the center, let him see what's happening, let him speak to people who are going through this experience or went through it. Because it's like an alcoholic, you tell him you're drunk, he say, no, I'm all right. But he's drunk, he can't even walk, but he'll tell you, I'm all right. So nobody who's in usage is going to tell you, that I can't handle it. They'll tell you I can handle it.
Jazakallah for your question, brother. Allah give your family sabr, Allah give your uncle Jannah. Nothing is, no mistake is greater than Allah's mercy. So inshallah, he will be in a high place in Jannah. One of the things that we do at Spinney Hill, we've started more recently, is preventative work. And what we've talked about so far is about the cure, is about once people are in addiction, what we can do to support them. But that whole effort of preventing young people from experimenting, because everybody that experiments, there's a percentage of them that go on to become addicts. So we're now going into schools, state schools, Beecham College, Leicester College, Gateway College, some of the Crown Hill, some of the Islamic seminaries, madrasas, and doing workshops on addiction and the harms of drugs. So that will, inshallah, stop people from thinking that, well, it's a harmless thing. You know, if everybody's doing it, I can just try and I'll be okay. So if I could just invite Sohail just for a few minutes just to say a few words about Sohail heads our education team. Just a couple of words about, this is a free service that we offer. Brother Muhammad, he's just left. He's the one who delivers the service, and what it entails and how to, if anybody is interested from a madrasa, from a school that they might work in, girls, madrasas, girls' schools as well, how they can make contact and book in a slot.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So this is a service that we offer across the board. So recently we've done youth clubs, we've done masjids, we've done state schools, we've done private schools, and it's a relatively straightforward event to organise. MashaAllah, we have a very good speaker, and these are presentations that normally last between 45 minutes to an hour and a half. It includes questions and answers, similar to what we've got today. And for example, the events we've got coming up are with youngsters, so they'll be about vaping, because all the data is showing us how critical an issue vaping is, especially amongst our youth, especially amongst the youth in our communities. Because taking on one of the things Sheikh has said, because it's seen as quite a harmless activity, when in fact the results that we are seeing is that it is a clear and present danger to our community. So you have to organise these events. All you have to do is reach out to us, speak to any of the brothers at the centre. You can look on our website. There's actually a form that one of the community brothers can fill in, and inshallah we'll get back to you as quickly as possible and we can arrange an event. So I know not just here, mashallah, we're absolutely so humbled to be here today, but many of you are also linked to many other, either masajids, youth clubs, other groups. Reach out to them, ask them to reach out to us. Inshallah, jazakallah khair.
And through that, even if one person decides, actually, you know, I'm not going to go down that road, I'm not going to experiment, no matter what people put pressure on me, then that's one life saved. One mother's nights are saved from tears, and one father's nights and days are saved. So please, you know, like Brother Sohail said, it's a free service. If anybody needs to see the presentation before it's delivered to reassure them that there's nothing in there that parents might find offensive or upsetting, we can do that. But please take advantage of that service, inshallah.
Still questions or comments this time? Okay, just one more question from me, and then I think I'm going to give the closing remarks now. You mentioned counseling, family counseling in the past, because some of the users, they might not be willing to give up at the time, but many households are suffering with it. So is there any services to offer that family, even though the person who's using it is not ready to step out and come out of it? What support you can give those families as well?
So, like we mentioned, one of the things we do is the groups for the mothers and sisters and daughters, because they are often the hidden victims of addiction, firstly. And secondly, there's nowhere often for them to go where they can talk about this. They often have to contain this within themselves. So this is a safe space for them to go. The groups that take place every Tuesday morning. And also outside of that time, Sister Halima is available. She works. She can be people can contact her by phone if something occurs and they're not sure how to handle it. So even though the service user, the addict, the child, may not want help at that time, the mothers and the families can get equipped with the skills to know how to deal with them. Because there is a point where we want to support our children, of course, but there is a point where instead of supporting them, we're enabling their behavior. And sometimes we have to be a little bit cruel to be kind. But at what point we do that, how we do that, we close the door, but we don't lock the door, we leave it slightly ajar. All of these things, you know, we have to gain advice for that from the people, from the sisters, and other women who may have been through similar things. One of the other things we're hoping to start very soon is a fathers group. So that is for the fathers of the children of the service users, and how they can come, what the specific challenges that they face, and to equip them with the skills of how they can support their sons and daughters through addiction.
Thank you very much. I'll give the Hafiz Rafiq his closing remarks, and after you and I will yes. Okay, Brother Rafiq, may Allah gives you the barakah and all the deeds that you're doing for the community, reward you accordingly. And all the journey that you have taken to be here today, reward you. Your closing remarks for the community, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think very important is that, you know, we have help in our community. We have a center where we can send our children. I think it's very important for us as families to take the initiative and connect with the center. I think even if an addict is not ready for rehabilitation, I think it's very important for the families to educate themselves and understand how to deal with the situation. So inshallah, I feel is that, you know, we have a center here at in Leicester itself, okay? And I think the initiative is trying to set up centers as much as we can in most of the cities or towns. And I think the families must get out of that cocoon and try and affiliate themselves with the center. And inshallah, from there get the guidance of how to deal with the situation. Like I said earlier, there is no way we're going to be able to stop it. There's something you can't stop. But when we can educate ourselves and understand how to deal with the situation, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Yes. I think one of the good things that come from this meeting is not the last one, it's the first. If I can ask the cameras to be back on, because I have questions for local and the next action, what we were going to do together as the community, us and the Spinney Hill drug support. And if the Sheikh can be excluded from the picture, I will appreciate. Because what we want to give is real information now, how people can come and join us. So, and while we're doing that, I would like to make sure that I'm the only mouthpiece of this beautiful event, and I'm lucky to be chairing. But the real work is being done by the whole masjids here in St. Matthew. I will name Masjid al-Huda, Masjid al-Quba, Masjid Alfurqan. All they come together. It's not only one masjid's effort. I will mention also some names. I will start our host, Brother Sheikh Abdi Hamid, and his team who are giving us this beautiful arena to talk. I'll like to say big thank you, Sheikh Ayanle, who's hiding himself there, who was mastermind of this and come the first meeting with you. I'd also like to thank Brother Abdul Qadir, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Urwa, who all of a sudden today become a silent. Usually he's not that. I think whatever we would say affected him and the community. May Allah reward him. Sheikh Jama Usman, who's from Masjid al-Quba as well. So it was effort, group effort. And I'm just taking the glory. It's not me who did anything. I'm just the one who's chairing today. All the work is being done by masjids, and I cannot take credit for that. The next steps, if I may say so, but before that, where is Spinney Hill? Physical address, and where people can find you. Because we know Leicester, it's small. If you can say, how can I reach?
So the actual Wellbeing Center is on Chesterfield Road. It's opposite Pack Foods. It's next to Global Furniture. We are in the LIA building, so the sign will say LIA, and the entrance is round the back. And this is deliberate because we don't want to be at the shop front, at the front so everybody can see people going in. But the aim has always been to be based within the heart of the community, which is accessible to the community. So we are, but at the same time it's discreet. So it's 46A Chesterfield Road.
Thank you. If now the masjids that are all here and other masjids, Somali masjids, want to run a workshop or talk, that's the next action, I believe. What they need to do, the committees of those masjids to do the next sessions for the community, because I believe this is the start and money will come.
We are available at all times, inshallah. We will try and work around you. Our aim is to, like I mentioned, is that, nobody who is struggling with addiction, no family should struggle. Everybody must know that there is support out there. Most of the brothers who are here and all the sisters, most of it is done voluntarily. We have some paid staff, but very few. Majority of the work is done by volunteers, just with asking for nothing in return, no recognition, no money, just a concern for the ummah. So please, whatever you need, whether you are an individual going through addiction, whether you are a family member who knows somebody going through addiction, or whether you are an institution or a masjid looking for awareness sessions, please contact us on the number, and definitely we will try and arrange something to support.
Thank you ever so much. Is your colleagues who can explain this here, or they left? They left, okay. It's the workshop, inshallah. The reason I do that, and I just showed for the camera, there is a box here in the masjid, and the lucky ones who are here will see, and they will be taught about what it is in those boxes and what are the different drugs here used by our youth nowadays. So also, I think it is good to have these workshops to educate our parents. I, as a parent, would like to be educated. Some of them, they will hide under a gum, and they make you feel that it's gum, but under the gum, there will be tablets and things and so forth. The experts will make it more. There is a number here. Is that number free of charge, like order number? And how else people, text-wise, they can come? Because people like to be anonymous when they're coming to your services. So for the camera and everyone who listening, the numbers, please. And
so anybody who wants to contact us, all our details are on our website. So the website is www.spinneyhill.org.uk. So I'll just repeat that. All our contact details are on our website, which is www.spinneyhill.org.uk. People can contact us by phone, which is 0300 124 0945. If somebody is not in the office to answer the call, then the call is automatically directed to somebody's mobile. Maulana Safraz, Hafiz Afzal, so they'll pick up the calls. Failing that, people can email in and leave their contact details, and somebody will contact them, which is info@spinneyhill.org, help@spinneyhill.org.uk. So all these details are on the leaflets, and all of the details are on the website. So whatever is the easiest way to contact us, there is a mobile number as well, which is 07 306 011 247. So 07 306 011 247. So people can contact mobile, people can contact landline, email, and go on the website. All the details are there. But please, like mentioned many times, don't continue to struggle in silence. Please reach out, and all the help and all the contact, everything is in confidence, and we maintain the highest level of confidentiality at all times.
Clearer than that. Thank you ever so much. One of the things that they never ask is money, but they are charity, and the charitable donations are welcome. Those of us who can help, because not only brothers are giving up their time, they're giving their money as well. So as a ummah, I urge my brothers and sisters from the Somali community to also donate whatever they can, because what we are doing here and they are doing here is important for the ummah. And that's also, they're very shy. They never talk about money, and they never ask you money or reward, but I can speak for them in that manner. It's been very exciting for me. I do not know how the time passed. I thank all those who are present here, those who are watching from home, but this is the start. And I think one of the ways to do this is doing together. As Spinney Hill invited us, we can also have satellites in our masjids here or in St. Matthew. They can come anytime we request. We can train our youth with them to make sure that youth talk to other youth. And when I'm looking now, Imam Sheikh Ayanle and others is actively making that proposal. But people like me with the gray hair cannot do that job. It is for the young people next time. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you for your time and for your patience and everything we say that's wrong. It's a shaitan that induced us. Anything we say that's correct, it's Allah who made us give that knowledge, and through us we gave you, they gave you more than me what we come here for. And our session is closed now, but still we're here to talk about and talk to each other. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.